So you want to know what I really think about being a booktuber? Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Bree and this is For a Positive Book. I've been on BookTube a very long time, a little over 7 years now, and I thought we should talk about my thoughts on BookTube, both on a technical side and an emotional side. And I saw Brittany over at Rescues and Reads do this video and I thought it was a great idea. Now I do not do a lot of tags on my channel anymore. Back in the day, man, they were all the rage, but I don't do them very much anymore. But I thought this one had some really good questions. So I will link Brittany's video down below. You can go check that one out as well. Go see her answers. I'm a nosy bitch when it comes to BookTube and content, and I love seeing how other people run their channels. I did a vlog last week where I was doing a behind the scenes kind of video with content, and I did a Q&A, and so I have answered some of these questions already, but some of them are new questions, and they were questions that were in the comments of that video. And so I thought this is a perfect way to kind of do like a part 2 to that, essentially. So this is the behind the BookTube tag. I will have the questions down below as well if you are interested in doing this. If you also would like to indulge in my nosiness, and if you're a content creator and want to do this video, go ahead. So let's just chat. Okay, we're going to start with the technical aspects of it. So if you're not interested in that, you just want to hear my thoughts on the emotional side of BookTube, I'll have timestamps linked down below as well. First up, what kind of camera do I use? I use the Canon EOS R50, I believe is what it's called. It's a mirrorless camera. It's a DSLR, but it is small, and that's what I primarily use. I have like a tripod and things like that, and so I use it for both my sit down videos and my vlogs. It's light enough that I can carry around, or I can like set it on my desk, which is what I'm doing right now. And then I also film on my phone occasionally, specifically when I'm in my car, just because of the way that my car's dashboard is. My camera doesn't fit on a tripod, so I can't do that. So I use my phone. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, so like the bigger one, but it is a couple of years old, so it's not fantastic. The audio quality is not great, so I use some mics and things like that. And then when I can, I use my camera. The second question kind of ties into that. Do you use any additional equipment? Absolutely. I have everything linked down below that I use. Primarily, I have a pretty simple telescoping tripod. I showed it off in the vlog, so you can check that out. And then I use just a mic that's attached to my camera, and then I use that same mic attached to my phone when I am filming on my phone. I have a couple of different car mounts that I can put my phone on, and then if I need to, I do have some light boxes. That's pretty much the extent of my equipment. The other thing I have is a Bluetooth like clicker for my camera that will automatically start it. I don't always use it, however, because I have a telescoping tripod, if I hit the button and it's like all the way extended, sometimes it shakes, and so then I have to like sit there for a few seconds and let it sit. But if I just use the clicker, then I don't have to worry about that. The next question is scripted or spontaneous. I do a little bit of both. My vlogs are very spontaneous. They are very much stream of consciousness. I want the vibe of my channel to be like you and I just sitting down having a cup of coffee, chatting, chilling. That's my vibe. That's what I bring to this channel. There are some videos that I do have to like script a little bit more, specifically when they are a little bit more controversial, or I want them to be more educational. My Kindle Unlimited video, I actually like did a full-on script for. Also my How to Start a BookTube channel, which is another video that I like scripted out because I wanted to make sure that I hit all of the points. I wanted to make sure that it flowed properly, and if I could read the script, at least like bullet points, then I felt like a little bit more prepared going into the filming of it. The next question is, how many takes do you do when you film? I try to do it in one take. Technically, now I stumble on my words a lot, and I try to make sure that I don't keep those in there. Like it happens sometimes, but I do stumble on my words quite a bit, and so I will just pause and then I'll say the sentence again, and so that allows me to, when I'm editing, find the little times that I mess up and like edit those out. But I absolutely do not film like the entire thing multiple times. That's way too much. Too much footage to try to comb through, too much editing. The only thing that I will do a couple of different variations of is my intro, because I like to do that quick, like 1 to 2 sentence hook. And so I'll do it a couple of different ways, and sometimes I'll actually do that one at the end after I'm already done filming, because I will know what I talked about. And so then the hook makes more sense if I do it at the end. The next question is, if you use music, where do you find it? I use music in my vlogs for like B-roll footage and stuff like that. I never put music underneath my talking, simply because it annoys me as a viewer. I can't focus on both things, and my brain will just check out. So I don't do that on my own videos. It's an accessibility thing, but I do for my vlogs, and I have a subscription to Hello Thematic. This is the company that Kayla from Books and Lala uses, and that's how I found it. I've just had it for years, and so I think I pay $7 a month, something like that. I'll link it down below if you're interested. There is a free version of it, but you don't get very much of it. And so I have the second tier up. Then there's like another tier that you get even more stuff, but I don't need that because I don't use a ton of music, but I like having a little bit more of a wider variety. But you can 100% get stuff free. YouTube Music Library has some that are copyright free. There's a lot of different websites that basically do the same thing. This is just the one that I've used for years and years and years, and so I just stuck with it. The next question is, how do you make your thumbnails? And I do them all in Canva. So I will take the thumbnails while I am filming, usually. Sometimes I forget, but usually. And then I make them that way. I usually do a couple of different varieties, and then I use the YouTube thumbnail test, and it'll tell me which one does better as far as the click-through rate and the watch time and things like that. But yeah, I do them all in Canva. I have a pretty set style with the the blurred background and some type of bold text. It's usually me, holding a book or something. But yes, everything is done in Canva. If you were to get one subscription to help your channel, I feel like the Canva Pro subscription is the one, above all else. The next question is, how do you edit your videos? Since about, I think, November of last year, I've been using Adobe Premiere Pro. I absolutely love it. It's gotten to the point where I understand it. I know how to do it. It's not taking me nearly as much time as it used to. I used iMovie for years and years and years. If you are a MacBook user, then iMovie is free for you. It's definitely a software that is usable. It is manageable. It is very easy to use, and a lot of creators use it. I just felt it was time to upgrade, to do a couple of things that I wanted to do, a couple of extra things, and so that's why I upgraded, but it's not necessary at all. The next question is, any tips, tricks, or hacks when it comes to filming and editing? For filming, I would say 100% make sure that your lighting is good and your sound is good. Those are the two most important things when you are starting out. I would say sound is the most important thing, because a lot of people will watch YouTube videos as podcasts, and so they're actually not really paying attention to what's on the screen, but they are listening. And I will be 100% honest, if it's a video that has a very tinny sound, or it is your microphone is you're blowing out your speaker, something like that, I will click off a video. Even if it's a channel that I watch religiously, if the sound is not good, it really, really messes with my sensory issues. And surely I am not the only person that thinks that. So I would say sound is the number one thing, and then lighting, making sure that you are bright and clean, and it is you are lit from the front. Right now I have 0 lights on. I am just sitting at my desk, which is facing a window, and so I am getting just the regular sunlight, and it's doing great. And then this question kind of ties into that. In your opinion, what makes a good video from a production standpoint? So like I said, sound and lighting is going to be your two biggest contributing factors to whether or not a person continues to watch your video if they click on it. But then the other thing that I would say, just kind of in addition to that, is making sure that you are getting to your point quickly. And so if it's not something that you have an established audience, if you are new to BookTube, you don't have an established audience, and so people are not going to stick around without a reason. So either doing things if you're vlogging, if you have some sort of mystery to it, so you don't know what books you are going to be reading, that kind of adds to the mystery. People want to stay on it longer. Or you get to the point very quickly. So I'm going to be talking about this book, and this is why, this is what I did like about it, this is what I didn't like about it, and kind of creating that hook. As TikTok has become more and more prevalent in our social media consumption, we have to get to the point very, very quickly. Now, I don't think we have to get to the point in 1.5 seconds like we do with TikTok, but we do have to get there quickly. All right, let's move on to the more emotional side of BookTube. Like I said, I have been here for a very long time. I have seen trends come and go. I've seen creators come and go. There are very few creators that are still making videos that were making videos when I first started. So it feels a little bit weird. It feels like I've almost like run out my time. I don't think I have. As long as I am also evolving with BookTube, then I'm fine. If I was still trying to do the things that I was doing 7 years ago, then I would have run out my time. But as long as I evolve, we're good. The first question is, what has surprised you the most about BookTube, both in a good way and a bad way? This is a very good question, and I did not read these questions prior to it, so obviously the technical side, they're very black and white answers. These ones are going to be a little bit, I'm gonna have to think about this one. I will say, I think that like something that maybe it hasn't surprised me, but like if I look back at it, it's definitely surprising in that I have changed so much. Obviously, my videos from 2018 are all privated. You can't see them, but I can. And if I went back and watched them, not only is like the technical side of it so much better, but it's also just like my confidence level, my awareness, my camera presence, I guess, but also the confidence in which I talk about books, the confidence in which I talk about BookTube and my experience on things. And I definitely feel like I can like talk poorly about a book that is popular. I remember my first year on BookTube and reading The Hating Game and being like, this is fine. It's a fine romance, but I felt like I had to give it 5 stars because everybody else was giving it 5 stars. And I was like, well, I'm a baby booktuber. I can't give a book a bad rating. People will hate me. So I feel like just like my confidence level, my presence on BookTube is surprising if I look back at it. For sure, I am definitely a different person than I was 7 years ago. And I don't know that anything has really surprised me in a bad way per se. I mean, there's things that we could talk about, how, BookTube is changing the publishing industry and maybe not necessarily for the better. We could talk about the clicks on BookTube. We could talk, like, there's a lot of things, but I don't feel like they're A, surprises, and B, something that I really want to focus on. I really want to like spend mental energy or time on. Question number 2, how do you balance reading and BookTube with the rest of your life? This was actually like a direct question on the comments of my last video, and I don't. There isn't a time where I'm not thinking about BookTube. There isn't a time where I'm thinking about how I can make something content, and I think that just comes from the obsessive personality that I have. I think that you 100% can have work-life balance and do things separate. I just haven't figured that out yet. But also for me, like, I don't listen to a lot of music. There's not a lot of things that I do outside of BookTube or my job, and so that's why I can read 200 books a year, because I will listen to an audiobook on my hour-long commute rather than listening to music or something like that. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts or anything like that, and so I feel like my mind is always running, my mind is always going someplace. It's also probably why I read most of my books for content, because I'm always thinking about like how something can be content. So don't take advice about work-life balance from me. The next question is about Patreon. It specifically is asking like, have you thought about creating one? And I have one. I do. I have the dog pack. There are 4 tiers. And so it ranges from $3, where you get some private sprints. We try to do them about once a week, all the way up to $13 a month. And that one you get a monthly bookmark. And so they are all these like foiled bookmarks. Here, let me see if I can find one. So this was one of my recent ones, I think. this one was March's. And so there's the holographic foil. So I design all of these, and you get one a month if you're on the top tier. And there's, a variety in between there. It's a fun time. We're chill, but it's a fun time. And we're doing a readathon right now that is leading up to the amazing readathon. So that's also a fun thing. We do quarterly readathons for everybody. It's great. The next question is, have you made any mistakes on BookTube? My first instinctive question would be like, who hasn't made mistakes on BookTube. And then my second one would be, yes, I've made every mistake on BookTube. I have, the biggest one I think, like just from a technical standpoint, is that I changed the name of my channel and then lost a ton of subscribers because nobody knew who I was anymore. And so don't do that, definitely. But also I feel like we always are just like learning and growing, and you know, a video may not do well, or you know, you may have done something, you know, you said something wrong, you did something poorly, like whatever it is, you know, we all make mistakes. As long as we learn and grow from them and we evolve, then that is all that matters. The next question is, do you have any advice for new booktubers? The obvious answer for this is like, just post your first video or just film your first video. You don't even have to post it. You can make it unlisted. But I actually have an entire video that I will link up above that is a bunch of concrete advice for new booktubers or people that want to start a booktube channel, because I feel like when I just say start your channel, that's not helpful. That's still so overwhelming, and so that has some like very concrete step by step, this is what you should do to get out your first video. The next question is, what are your thoughts on the YouTube algorithm? And I think like a lot of people have very negative opinions, very negative feelings about the YouTube algorithm, and I think that that can harm you as a creator. But here's the thing. The YouTube algorithm is not designed to push your content out as a creator. It is designed to feed the viewer content so that they stay on the platform. And so it's not that the YouTube algorithm hates you. It's not that you are being smushed by the algorithm or you're being shadow banned or whatever they call it nowadays. It's that you aren't creating content that people want to watch. And I know that that sounds harsh and I know that that sounds mean, but it's so important, especially in today's social media landscape where we have so many different ways of consuming media, that we are creating content that people want to watch. And I'm not saying that it's like, oh, you are not an interesting person to watch. I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying that your topic is not searchable. It is not something that people are looking for. It's not something that is feeding that search engine, right? People are looking for searchable content and the algorithm is pushing out searchable content. And so because of that, that's what's getting fed into the algorithm. So you using the excuse of the algorithm hates me, YouTube hates my channel, blah, 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 like that's an excuse and it's not helpful to you or to anyone else. Now you can continue to use that excuse and you can continue to like get stuck in the like 100 view like category or lower or whatever like ceiling you're stuck in. Or you can look at your YouTube studio, you can look at SEO. I use vidIQ and that really helps me like see what people that are watching my videos are also watching, and then I can make content that they're watching, you know what I mean? So like, work smart, not hard. It's going to take you the same amount of time to put out a video that is just a random idea or a video that the algorithm is going to push out. So the reason I say all this, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be harsh. My point in saying this is you have to work with the algorithm, not against it. Work smart. It makes a lot more sense to spend 4 hours on a video that's going to get pushed out to the masses, pushed out to an audience that is not your typical audience, or not even not your typical audience, but just like not your normal viewers, and you'll get way more views, you'll get new subscribers, you'll get, you know, new eyeballs on your channel than putting out something that you're like, well, it's Tuesday, so I have to put out a video. I'll just do this random thing and you get 50 views, 100 views. And you spent the same amount of time on it, right? But which one has more return on investment? All right, the next question is about video ideas. It's a two-parter. So the first part is how do you decide what videos to make? And then the second one is, are you ever overwhelmed with video ideas? I don't think I'm ever overwhelmed, so I'm gonna like get that one out of the way pretty quickly. There are sometimes where I have more ideas than days that I post, but honestly, that doesn't happen very often. Most of the time I'm looking for ideas, especially for sit-down videos, because vlogs are much easier to come up with. They just take more time, so I can't do them that often. I can't do more than 2, maybe 3 a month. And I think my ideas tend to come pretty organically. I've kind of talked about this before, where it's like I'll see something that somebody else is doing and then I'll make my own spin on it. You should never copy somebody as far as like YouTube video ideas. But also, we're all unique individuals, and so if you do a recommendations video that somebody else has also done a recommendations video, those are going to be different. Even if you have some of the same books on there, they're going to look different. That's my idea there, is just like, you know, keep it original, but like if something is working for somebody else, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. You just need to redecorate the wheel. That makes sense. Make it unique. The next question is, have you ever regretted posting a video? No, because I won't post it if I don't like it. If it's low quality, I'm not going to post it, because that is that is the picture of what my channel is. It's a representation of who I am, what my brand is, and so I'm not going to post something that I'm not proud of. I'll just skip a video. The next question also has 2 parts to it, and it is about views and subscriber numbers and analytics and things like that. So the first part is, are the number of views and subscribers meaningful to you? And I think it would be disingenuous to say no. We're always looking at those numbers. It's, you know, it's human nature. It's the idea of like, I am putting all of this work into something. I am putting essentially all of my free time into this channel and into the work that I do for this channel. So if I'm not seeing that number grow, if I'm not seeing those subscribers go up, it's easy to get in the headspace of like, what's the point? And I know that that's probably not super healthy. I know that you should be looking at it as like, I'm having fun doing this. I have friends that are doing this. I have, you know, this is a hobby for me, but at this point in my BookTube career, it's not a hobby. And so it is a business. It is a, you know, I'm trying to make this a career. I'm trying to make this a job. And so I have to look at it from an analytical standpoint. I have to look at it from a numbers standpoint, because that's how I have to view whether I'm doing it correctly or not. And the second part of that question is, are the numbers of views and subscribers a measurement of success? And I think it depends on what the point of your channel is. Because when you start your channel, and honestly, like even periodically, you need to look at your channel and you need to look at the goals of your channel, and that's going to determine what this answer is. Because if your goal is to have a community, to make friends, to read with your friends, to just, you know, talk about your favorite books, then no, the number of subscribers, the number of views is not important. It's not a measurement of success. Your measurement of success is, are you having fun doing it? Are you making friends? Are you a part of the community? Are you, you know, contributing to that community? That's your measurement of success. For me personally, like I said, this is my brand at this point. This is my business. And so yes, for me, it is a measurement of success. On the YouTube Studio app and on the homepage for the studio, it will show you what your recent video is and how it has performed against your other videos. And so when you see 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, you're like, well, that sucks. You never want that, right? I like it to at least stay in the top 5 of them, because that means that we are stepping up. We're evolving every single time. And so when you see one that like doesn't perform well, it sucks, because you're like, well, I put time and effort into this and it's not doing well. Sometimes you experiment with something and it doesn't work. And that's fine. That's fine. It happens. As with any business, you're going to experiment and some things are going to hit and some things won't. But yeah, for me, it does matter. It is a measurement of success. The next question is, are you disappointed by the growth of your channel? This is something that I try not to harp on. There are a lot of different elements that go into the growth of a channel, and sometimes they're completely outside of your control, and sometimes it is something that you did or didn't do. For instance, in 2020, when COVID was like at its peak, my mental health was so bad. I had no desire to make content. However, the people that started on Book Talk and, you know, were very active on BookTube in those early months of 2020, they blew up because they were there at the inception, specifically on TikTok. They were there at the inception of it, and they have hundreds of thousands of followers now. And so had I like gotten my butt into gear and started making videos on TikTok in 2020, I probably would not be in the same spot that I am. So yes, sometimes I kick myself for that. But then at the same time, there are other things that are outside of my control. The easiest comparison, but the one that hurts the most, is that I started my BookTube channel the same year, I think like within a couple of months, as Chandler. And she has what, 110,000 subscribers or something like that. And so it's easy to compare it and to measure my channel that is obviously much smaller than Chandler's. And there's also been people that have started after me that have grown way more exponentially. And it's just like because like something hit. A video they did really hit, a series they did drew in a new audience. And that's fine because it's like you had that idea, I didn't have the idea, so it's not like I didn't do it and so therefore I should be kicking myself, but it sometimes sucks. But no, I'm not upset about the size of my channel, the growth of my channel. I feel like especially in this last year, I've really hit my stride, and I'm happy with the growth and the direction that my channel is going. The next question is, have you ever thought about quitting BookTube? Not really. Not recently anyways. This is something I have been doing longer than I have done any other hobby. I think at this point it's not a hobby. It is like, it's just a part of me at this point. It is who I am. It's, you know, something I'm super passionate about. And that's something that, as someone who's neurodivergent, has ADHD, and does kind of like fall out of love with things very quickly. Doing something for 7 years kind of shows me that it is the right direction for me. It is something that I will continue to be passionate about for years, and something that I will continue to grow and love. Nothing that is standing in my way right now. There's nothing that like I don't want to quit. So ask me again in July after Amazing Readathon is over. That answer might change temporarily. The next question is about comments. The first part being, what are the most touching comments? I love seeing that someone picked up a book because I was so excited about a book and then they loved it. It's terrifying when they say, I'm going to pick this up because you loved it, and you're like, oh, I hope you do too, because I might be steering you in the wrong direction. But when they also love it, it's heartwarming. It's also really, really weird when I see people, not weird, weird in like a good way, when I see people in the real world that are like, oh, you're Brie from Four Paws in a Book. And I was like, yes, I am. That's weird. People know me. When I was at Romantasy BookCon, I had like 4 different people come up to me and be like, oh yeah, I know your channel. I had an author at a Polycon last year say that like her husband had watched my video where I was reading her book. She didn't, thank God, she didn't watch that. I mean, I loved the book, it was fine. But she's like, oh yeah, I recognize your face from the thumbnail. And I was like, so weird. Yeah, that's the coolest part about like building this community, and like people are listening to the book recommendations. It doesn't, like when you're here, I'm in my office by myself and it feels really isolating. It feels like I am just talking to myself, which is essentially what I'm doing. But then it gets to go out to hundreds and thousands of people. Maybe one day. I don't know, it's cool to like see that. On the flip side of that, they ask about like negative comments, and I don't feel like I get a lot of negative comments. I mean, obviously there's people that like, I love a book and they're like, yeah, this was the worst book ever. Or if I don't like a book and they're like, why do you hate my favorite book? And I like, reading is so subjective, it's art. One person will love it, one person will hate it. It is just the way that it is. But yeah, I feel like BookTube is a really safe place. The comments are usually very friendly, very uplifting and encouraging and things like that. So I don't get a lot of negative comments. Book Talk on the other hand is a little bit scary. Less negative comments, more creepy comments. Like I have the one that went viral about like the spicy audiobook and listening to it at work, and I've gotten some weird DMs from men that I just delete, and it's like gross. It's very gross. And then the final question is in regards to BookTube, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I hate these questions, like regardless. I hate these questions when like you have them in an interview. I hate them when your therapist asks you. I hate it. I would love to say that I'm working for For Positive Book full time, you know, at least under one of the umbrellas with my merch and my author services. I want to be doing this full time. I want to be able to have that freedom to be able to work for myself, to have For Positive Book as an LLC, like to have that as like a legitimate income, a legitimate career, that people outside of me and like my inner circle will take seriously. Because it's like, it's weird to be, you know, when someone says like, oh, what do you do for a living? And you're like, I make content, I talk about books online. And like, it's really easy to not take that seriously. And I want in 5 years to be able to confidently with my full chest say that, you know, I work for myself. I'm a content creator. I talk about books online. So that is the behind the BookTube tag. That is both the technical side of things and also the heart and soul behind BookTube. If you're a content creator and you haven't done this and you want to, you're tagged, I guess. Do we tag people anymore? I don't know. If you do want to check out some of my educational videos, I will leave my how to start a BookTube channel as well as my last behind the scenes vlog right here if you want to check those out. And if you're not feeling chatty, do the camera emoji. That is all I have for you today. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!